welcome back to the Shoulder Spotlight podcast. I am your community leader and host, Adriana. Today we have with us Marianne Fitzgerald. Yay. Hi, Marianne. How are you? How the heck are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing so awesome. Maybe moving my camera. Yeah, that's a little better, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Now you got Sweden or Finland or whatever's in the background. So
we're neighbors. We're right next door.
I know. We're sharing the same island. For the community out there who doesn't know who Marianne is, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, so I was born in Chicago.
Yeah, good.
No, so how recently, pretty much a couple years ago, I did the foundation training. It was probably 2023 when I took the foundations training in April. Before that, I had heard about it from Mark, and I thought it was a great idea, but my schedule was just too packed. So I took the foundations training then. And what I was doing was I'm a massage therapist and working on transitioning from body work into more of life transformation. So in that, towards that goal, I thought learning more how to talk to people, how to listen to people, how to ask questions and stuff like that, and having real practice with that would be good for me personally. But also this shoulder also gives me a way of doing that, because I believe in the mission, doing it at an affordable rate and really being able to be there for people in the community who don't have somebody. So,
Well, what about shoulder inspires you?
A lot of things. A lot of it, the community really does come together, which is really awesome. It's simple. It's not complex. It's when you follow the arc, it's just, it's an easy way to get people to open up to the answers that they have within them, and it takes the pressure off of me, because it's like, before I have to help them, I have to help them by knowing what's right for them to do, or give them a good answer, or maybe inspire them. And instead, I've come to realize that everybody's got the answers within themselves. And that's what Shoulder is all about, is just listening and saying, asking the right questions. So then all of a sudden the people look within and they go, wow, I just got this insight. I've been working with this problem for years, but all of a sudden now I get it. And it's a beautiful thing. It's just so beautiful.
I agree. It's the best part. It's the bliss, baby.
Yeah.
So why did you choose to be a shoulder?
For the reasons of, building up my personal ability to work with people, but also being part of a community, and also helping others to find the answers within themselves, which is the only real way that I have found that helps me grow. Is when somebody tells me something, it doesn't help as much as when it comes organically from within me. And I want that for, somebody else too.
Yeah. Tell me more about what that process is like of when you find the answer within.
Sometimes it is, I get a lot of answers when I'm walking in nature. So a lot of times it's just asking the question and then just, pausing and not asking another question right away, not demanding I get an answer, but just kind of being in that surrounding of nature and allowing Mother Nature just to do her magic, and just to really, all of a sudden I just get an insight like, hey, maybe it's this. And it's like, wow, okay, yeah, I never thought of it. Or a bird will fly over and it reminds me of something, or I'll look up and I get a different viewpoint. And that simple physical thing of changing my posture, looking up instead of looking down at the trail or looking at the trees or whatever plants are close to me, but to look up, that changes your whole physiology. And for somebody to be in a place that is stuck, when you're stuck, you end up being in this, just focusing here, focusing here. But to be able to look up and to do something different than what is normal, that helps you get out of that rut.
What gifts do you believe you bring to Shoulder? Like empathy, compassion. What do you think you bring?
Yeah, for sure, both of those, empathy and compassion. Through years and years of body work, there is working in proximity with someone. And even though we're in the same room, it transfers over into a Zoom screen, or a virtual reality, or a virtual meeting. And it's one of those things where it's the same. Once you get to know what that feels like, then something like, a gesture that the client will make, or looking down or looking away or looking up, all of that stuff means something. And over the years, I've been able to kind of cultivate that. So I don't know if it's a gift as much as a skill. And I think I would say more of a skill, because I think that you can learn that from practice, but also I think it's something that Shoulder is set up for, as far as listening, not just with your ears, listening with your heart. And really seeing what's going on with the other person, knowing that you're not in proximity and you're not feeling their energy in that way, that you can still feel their energy in this virtual session. Studied a lot with, once again, it's not really gifts. If a gift at all, I guess something I've had since childhood was just being pretty intuitive and being pretty compassionate. If a kid was crying on the playground, I would feel so bad, and I would cry too, and it was like, they're all the way across the playground. What's going on? But it just hits me as, same thing with movies, or, you read a story in the news, or you see a podcast on YouTube and somebody says something. It's like, oh my God, that just touched me so deep. And so that's kind of an empathy, but it started with some intuition as well. From when I was a kid. But once again, it's something I've worked on and I've trained myself for. So it's not something that if you don't pay attention to it, it will go away. It's something that you work with on a regular basis. And it just pays off dividends tremendously in everything, not just in shouldering, in everything in life.
Yeah, I mean, from what I know of you, I know that you're pretty in tune to energy in that way. And you work at keeping that strong within you.
Yeah, I'm on vacation, so I got a pedicure today.
Oh, that's fun.
It's like a once a year thing. But the woman that used to give me pedicures here, she used to do a holistic pedicure. And she combined, I'm in Sedona, so it's a lot of that new age type of tools and stuff like that. So she would use numerology and crystals and cards and everything like that. But she also was tuned into her guides, and her guides would contact your guides while you're sitting in the chair and then tell her what to tell you. So it was kind of interesting. And she passed away last year. So I still needed a pedicure this year. So I went to a place and this young gal was there, and she was just like, oh my God, massage therapists. I don't know how they just take everything in, and they get like, they have to really listen to people. They're with them the whole day and their whole body and all of that. And there's a lot of negative energy and stuff like that. I don't know how they do it. And it's like, you stay grounded and you realize that that's theirs. And you can be empathetic with them. You can be compassionate, but it's their energy, and so something like with shouldering, it's like, man, I don't have to take any of that stuff on. All I need to do is to reflect, right? And that's one of the best tools as well, or get them into their body and out of their head with some of the embodiment questions. And it's one of those things where it's like, I've done that for 20 years now in massage and body work. And it's I've never taken on a client's pain. Even headaches, people are like, oh God, headaches. I always get their headache whenever it goes. It's like, no, be grounded, let that energy, if it's going to come through you, let it come through you and go into the ground. That's a much better place for it.
Yeah. In fact, the next question I was going to ask you was, what shoulder skills do you use in your daily personal and professional life? Like, how does that influence it? And you just answered it with that, like staying grounded. It's such a, yeah.
Staying grounded. And also the questions, after the foundations course, it was like, oh, okay, I see where unwittingly I was having my own agenda, where a client would be on my table and they would, I'm just coming up with being ticklish in the feet because I had a pedicure today. Well, what's that about? And instead of me getting to the answer of, well, I don't like people touching my feet because my big brothers used to pull on my toes all the time when I was a kid. I don't need to get there. It's just like, what's that about? I don't know. My feet are ticklish. Okay. That's good. And it's enough to just go there. I'm bringing their attention into the body just a little bit more than when before. And if they want to go there, and say, well, I don't know, what do you think? And they say, well, sometimes it's an indication, blah, blah, blah. And that's the same kind of thing that you would say in shoulder is, I'm not giving you an answer, but it's an indication maybe that there's something to pay attention to, something curious about, something like that.
Totally. If you were to leave shoulder tomorrow, what insights you learned through shouldering might you take with you?
The only thing that comes to me is everything, I mean, it really was such a great learning experience. And face it, relationship is where we grow the most. And for me to be one-on-one on the screen with someone that I don't know is a different relationship. And yet I can still grow that, grow in that way.
Here's hoping. Well, thank you so much, Marianne. This has been a real treat. I just love you, and I love you in our community, and I'm so thankful that you were able to join me for episode 8.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you and all the work that y'all are doing.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's nice to hear.